I'm thinking about going to my ex's house and kicking his front door in.
For real about that?
I'm gonna try my best not to.
Girl, you
I'm gonna
gonna
call one of my
go
friends
in
that's gonna
and
talk
sit on that
me
dick.
out of
That's
it.
what you trying to go do. That's what you want to do. You
No,
want to go
it
kick a
ain't
door
that.
in and go sit on that dick. That's exactly what you
No,
want
it's
to
not that.
do.
Bye, bye.
Who the fuck did I marry? So after the whole Miss Part 47, who the fuck did I marry? All right, Part 48, who the fuck did I marry? Part 49, who the fuck did I marry? So after Part 50, who the fuck did I marry? So the aftermath. There are some realizations I had to come to after the divorce and everything had passed. One, Legion never loved me. He never loved me. He doesn't love himself, so I know he didn't love me. Number two, he didn't even like me. He watched me get excited about things that he knew I was not going to get. And not even just the possession stuff. Like, of course, we know I was excited to be the woman whose husband is like, I'm taking my wife to London. I was excited to be the woman whose husband was like, yeah, I bought my wife a brand new BMW X5. You have to understand, as all the jokes that we make about the BMW, it was the time and effort that he spent in taking me to dealerships and being sure to put me in the car and test drive the car and, oh, I can see you in this. I like this for you. It seems safe. It was the effort to really make me believe that he was going to get this. Just for him to fuck with me. The effort in taking me to all these homes to see my face light up as a woman who grew up on welfare, to be able to walk into these 4 and 5 bedroom homes knowing that he didn't have any money to buy it. Imagine if he had just been honest and said, hey, I like in my free time to go to open houses and just see how the other people live. Imagine if he had just said that versus wasting not only my time, but the wasting the time of the realtors who did nothing wrong. There's a level of cruelty to my ex-husband that I had never experienced before. And God knows, I pray I never experience it again. That's the word that comes to mind when I think of him. He is cruel. And it wasn't just me, he did it to the ex-wife. So, do I trust? No. I trust the people who were in my life before him. If we were friends or if we were in a relationship or whatever and I knew you before him, I trust you explicitly. But if you're somebody I just met, I don't trust you. I don't. There's no point in me getting on here and saying and making it seem like, oh, I'm so strong, I'm so brave. I struggle big time. Because on one hand, I want to like someone. On the other hand, I'm immediately thinking, what if it's a repeat? And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I can't go through that again. I can't. Every single thing in our relationship was a lie. It took me a while to realize every single day this man lied to me. Every single day he lied to me.
This is the Crack King from the Crack King Podcast, and I'm coming with the news in a motherfucking weather.
Hi, my name is Rosalind. I am the CEO of Pink Stallion Cosmetics, and I am very excited to be on the Crack King Podcast again.
Who the fuck did I marry?
Listen.
So let the people out there know what I'm referring to real quick.
So, Our dear sister Risa Tisa in Atlanta, Georgia, was ready to get married on the cusp of the pandemic. She was online dating like lots of us do. She was on Facebook dating, she was on Hinge, and she met this man who was marriage minded. They went on a date. The date went well. Her tire blew out. He came to her rescue, and she just was in awe of this man. Once
That's pretty impressive, you know.
Pretty impressive.
Come in and change a motherfucking tire.
He came and changed the tire, put the donut on, and then took her to the tire shop and bought her a replacement. So she was good at this point. They continued to get to know each other, and about 2 to 3 weeks later, the governor shut the city of Atlanta down. Lockdown happened. Quarantine. And they were in the middle of getting to know each other. She says there was no intimacy that had gone on. However, she did not want to quarantine alone. He lived in a studio apartment as he was waiting on his VP job to put him in a 5-bedroom house.
Well, hold on.
He had a 3-bedroom.
So he had his own place? He wasn't home?
He had his own place. He had a studio apartment, and he was transitioning from a job in California here in Atlanta. Someone dropped the ball in HR and did not get his housing situated as they were supposed to, as was promised in his offer letter, and they were working on it. In the meantime, city gets shut down. She's living in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath townhome. They agreed to quarantine at her place. The rest is history.
Did he give up his place? Because I don't remember her saying anything about his place anymore.
I watched her live after the entire thing, and she said she never even asked. She never even questioned. They just agreed to quarantine at her place, and that was the end of his studio apartment.
This is what I gathered from it. It was giving hobosexual.
It definitely was, but let me say,
homosexuals don't pay bills. And from what I was hearing, he was paying all of the bills, which, because he was paying all the bills, she went into the situation kind of hurting for bills because of the pandemic.
They met before the pandemic, but during one of the episodes, she did say him paying the household bills, which, you know, let's keep it real, household bills, rent, light, gas, water, the Crack King podcast, maybe an alarm system. She said, you know, being a girl who grew up with a mother on welfare, him paying those household bills and me not having to struggle and think about household bills and my check being for me, myself, and I. She said it was intoxicating.
First red flag to me.
She also said in one of those 50 episodes that her mom always told her, because at one point after a whole debacle about luxury vehicles, he did help her put a down payment on a Nissan Altima. And she said, and she made the mistake of doing that because she knew she couldn't afford that car note without his help. And her mom had always told her, do not get yourself involved in situations that you can, financial situations where you cannot take care of it on your own. So
I think that was her whole life. Even this, because what does she need, a 3-bedroom, whatever, townhome, and it's just her with no kids? What does she need? Because then, you know, they were talking about, I don't want to jump the gun too fast, but I want to say this. I think he genuinely loved her. Mind you, he is a fucking liar and a halfway homosexual. You know, I could spot it. I see what it was. I was almost triggered by a lot of the stuff she was saying because in my younger days, I did those things that he was doing. I lied just like he was lying about certain things.
Like what certain things?
You know, marriages. You know,
and how they ended.
The marriage itself. I would say, I was only married one time when I was really married twice. You know, finances. Not that I was poor or broke, because he wasn't broke. As far as I know, I don't know finishing through the story, but I remember they were talking about they were married and they were exchanging, showing bank accounts, and he had upwards of like 20 grand.
It was a screenshot. It was fake. It was a Google screenshot.
Shit. But he was working because he was paying the bills, though, right?
He was working. He was getting unemployment from a previous job. Said her mortgage. She said her rent was like $700. Like her rent wasn't. It wasn't that much for him to be able to. Because rent is not always due at the same time as the light bill and the water. And depending on, like, I know I live in an apartment complex, but I pay rent, which is water, sewage, trash, valet, and then I have a light bill, and then whatever cable I want to have. So that's 3 things. If her rent was less than $700, I mean, and you might can be able to get $800 in unemployment.
When I left my job during the pandemic, I was getting more in unemployment with them taking child support out.
See?
They were taking child support out of the unemployment, and my check was still almost 2 times bigger than my regular pay fucking check.
See? So he was able to. He was getting unemployment. So he was able to pay her little funky mortgage, her little funky water bill, her little funky light bill.
He paid it though.
He paid it.
But see, what I was interested in is because of her mom seeing these things, he was able to sell her that dream because all of those things he was selling her. Those were the things she wanted because she really tried to play it down and say, "Oh, I wasn't too interested in a BMW or Audi." But then all of a sudden, I wanted a BMW with this, and that. So that was a bullshit lie. You wanted a BMW, and he knew it. You didn't want to live where you were living. You wanted to live on the other side of the tracks in a $700,000 house when it's just 2 of y'all. During the pandemic, he sold her that dream, and I'm not saying he didn't love her. I think he really loved her and wanted to give her those things, but he
let me preface. I want to preface everything that I'm gonna say after with a few things, if that's okay. Okay. So me personally, I could never figure out how old she is. I was in her live and I was like, how old is she? How old is she? What's your age? What's your age? Nobody would respond to me. However, she started this situation saying, she was ready to get married. She'd never been married. She wanted a family and she didn't want to be a single mom. Those 4 things. I want to get married. I want to have kids. I don't want to be a single mom. And I'm ready now. My biological clock.
And I don't want to live in the hood.
Well, that came later. Her main motivation was, I want to get married. I want to have a family. I don't want to do it by myself. And I'm running out of time. Right. And so I want to say that I can completely relate to all of those things that she was feeling at the time. Okay. And then I want to say she met him on online dating. Lots of people, more people than want to admit, do online dating. In the millennium 2020, that's what people do. Totally normal.
Especially during the pandemic, because I can't tell you how much
especially during the pandemic.
Quality pussy I got on online dating during the pandemic. I'm talking about women were doing things that they don't usually do. Inviting over,
exactly.
First dates, all of that shit.
We're coming upon a pandemic. So this is the cusp of the pandemic. And she obviously had been through several failed relationships, because she said several times, I felt like this was going to be my turn. So I want to say that I can relate to all of those things. However, she rushed. Regardless of how you feel in your body, in your mind, in your whatever, time is always going to be necessary. It's not 1940. It's not 1850. We're not on a slave plantation. Come on. You need time to get to know these people at this point in time. She did not give it any time. She went on the first date with this man March 4th. They moved in together to quarantine before April started. That's a mistake.
But she did say this is the reason why she moved so fast is because, one, he was attractive.
He was 6'4".
That's all she said. She just said he was attractive. She
said, she said he was attractive, and he was like, I want a family. I want to be married. I want kids. I want to raise my kids with my wife in a house. So those things he's playing on what he already knows that she wants.
Well, he knows that's what she wants because they in the pandemic together, and she's
Well, wait.
expressing
But
this.
wait, Grant. It's very important that we differentiate. They did not meet in the pandemic.
No.
It had not closed down yet. She met him when we were going wherever we wanted. Now COVID was out there. But nothing has shut down. You could go where you wanted. You could do what you wanted. There was caution, wear a mask, but nothing was shut down. And we were still doing what we wanted. You know, there's people that are uber cautious, but for the most part, the world was still going. We were still going to work. She met this man early March. She still had to go to work every day. You still could go to the grocery store. There were no restrictions or anything yet. So the pandemic does not play a part in her decision to attach herself to this man. He was divorced. He said that his ex cheated on him. When I walked in and she was with somebody else and she broke my heart, but I love her kids and we just they talked, they dated, and he was saying, I want to be married. I want to have a family. I want to raise my family in a house in a good neighborhood. I want a wife. And that's what she wanted. So she's like, okay. She's like, oh, let me find out.
Marriage ain't shit to him. He married, get divorced, like it ain't shit.
And then when you tell somebody that you're divorced because they cheated on me, they broke my heart, I'm the victim, the next person's going to be like, oh, he marriage minded. The only reason he not married no more is because that bitch fucked up, but I ain't going to fuck up. I know a good man when I see one. That's what she was thinking. Then 2 to 3 weeks later,
why would a woman cheat on this attractive man?
Right. He got a good job. He loves. Oh, he's making sure that I'm okay, or that I know that he still has a relationship with her kids, and they're not even his biological children. Oh, he's a family person. Oh. She's listening to all this, and then 2-3 weeks later, governor shuts Georgia down. She has the type of job that you have to go in, but they're like, no, you're going to have to figure out how to do this from home. So now they're deciding, where are we going to quarantine from?
Because he probably don't even have a house.
Facts. A studio apartment or your house. Come on. Women at a certain age who do not have children and who have never been married do have a lot of pressure. Unless you're in a situation where you have to face, I'm never going to be able to have a biological child of my own. That's something that is very hard to understand. So I've been in that situation so I can understand her. And she was not sharing details of this with her friends and her family. So I want to put all that out there to say, I'm not coming at her as a judgmental person. I do not feel like this was her fault. However, I can definitely speak on things that she did, mistakes that she made.
I'm not going to say it's her fault, but it takes two to tango. Yes, yeah, no.
In breakups, I don't believe that it takes two to tango.
Number one red flag, why she couldn't tell, if she felt this about this dude, why she couldn't tell her family. That's one. Why not tell her? It don't matter how much time has passed or whatever. If it's real, you're going to tell, you're going to scream into the world.
I'm the type of girl, and sometimes I'll be like, oh, I wish I hadn't said nothing. But I need to emote. I need to explain. I need to share what has happened to me. And I have certain people in my life that I can do that with. That I know they're not going to judge me no matter what. They're going to keep it real with me. You got to have 1 or 2 people that you can be honest with about what's happening with you. Because when she says that before they quarantined, she wasn't intimate with him. But even if you're not intimate in a sexual way or a physical way, when you tell people your desires, your dreams, your plans, you don't realize it, but you're giving them the roadmap to fuck over you. So you need somebody to be able to be neutral, that wasn't at dinner with him, that didn't hold his hand, that he didn't buy the tire for, that you can trust to say, girl, if you told this man nobody has ever helped me, I just have to call roadside assistance. The moment your tire blow, he gonna borrow $50 from his cousin to be able to buy you that used tire and replace, because he knows nobody has ever done that for you. My friend Jennifer and I, and y'all will meet Jennifer, been friends since 1996. She knows better than to tell me everything as it's happening, because she know I'm gonna burst her motherfucking bubble and I'm gonna keep it real with her ass. From the moment she met this dude, I knew this is trash. I didn't tell her that. She's a grown ass woman. She gonna figure that shit out on her own, right? She not, she will, she whatever. I knew it was trash. I didn't say anything. I'm happy. I'm going with the flow. Listen, I have a rule. If he's not hurting your children, stealing your money, or beating your ass, handle your business. When I need to intervene, I'll intervene. I never needed to intervene. He playing in her face this whole fucking time and then it got to a place where it was like she couldn't even hide it herself anymore, right? And I'm like, and she's telling me, and I gave it to her straight, girl. Nothing went. You didn't even have 30 good days with this man. Why did you think that this is not? Why did you think? Because I'm not judgmental. I'm telling her it was doomed from the beginning. It is what it is. You didn't die. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna get over it. But this was trash from jump. And if she wants me to tell her how I knew it was trash, I will. But some things are doomed from the beginning. Sometimes you're operating out of trauma. You're making decisions out of your hurt place. You're not being smart. You're not using the tools that you've gained. And when I can recognize it in my friend, I'm not going to be like, no, don't. Because we all have to go on our own journey, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to sit back. I'm going to take notes. I'm going to respect you. Long as he's not beating your ass, hurting your kids, stealing your money.
So you're saying that there was no way that it was going to be a positive spin on telling her, hey, be careful?
I didn't necessarily tell her be careful, because I've been telling her to be careful this whole 2 years that she was single. When she first met me, started dealing with him, and she's telling me, oh my God, I'm so scared. I don't want to be hurt again. I was like, hold on. I told her, I said, listen, none of us can predict the future. I said, but one thing that we do have on our side is time. Give yourself time to find out who he really is. Yes. You don't know who somebody is in 2 weeks when you done fucked him 4 times. You don't know him. You don't know him. You know what he says and you know how he feels. You don't know him. If you don't want to be hurt, give it time before you commit. Give it time before you start sacrificing and being loyal and give it time.
One of the best relationships I've ever been in, that woman had almost like time goals. Every 30 days, we would progress to something better and better and better. Every time I stayed consistent. And it was really me. I really had the control over the relationship because I had to stay consistent. I had to tell the truth these 30 days and each 30 days. But what I was really baffled by is when she never really talked about sex, as if they didn't have sex. The only thing she talked about was money. She turned a blind eye to a lot of bullshit that was in her face because of he was paying these bills. Because when she said she only had $1,500 in her account after 6 months and you're not paying any bills, you don't have a car note and that's all you have, well, what the fuck were you stealing?
Well, hold on. Let's keep it factual. She said she paid her own car note and she paid her own car insurance. So when because she went back and was like, let me clear up household bills. So she said he paid the household bills and she paid her own car note and she paid her own car insurance. However, still, you are paying $700 in rent, and March, April, May, he paid rent. That should be a little bit of something. Yeah. But listen, sex was happening because she got pregnant in May. But to your point, Grant, she wasn't like, ooh, he was dicking me down. Ooh, he was breaking my back. Girl, every time I couldn't even think of. I didn't even care about because
personally, I don't even think she liked him. To validate your point, I think it was in trauma. That's all she wanted.
Well, he wasn't paying that many bills, Chef. He wasn't paying. He wasn't paying it. I think she found him attractive. I think she did find him attractive. She said he talked a lot. They had lots in common. I think she did like him. I don't think she was ever in love with him. I think she did like him, and I think she fell in love with the things that she thought he was going to be able to provide. You know, he had this letter from Chase to say that he was approved for $750,000 mortgage. He had this, this offer letter, and he was getting an assistant. She allowed herself to be finessed. One of my opinions is, which I don't want to be too hard on Ogre. I don't want to come off as judging her and all that extra stuff because I can understand how she's been.
The Crack King podcast, there's no sisterhood. We just call it like it is.
You got to be independent. You can't depend on anybody else to take care of you. Bump what they say. What about what they do? And you're not going to be in the situation to find out that they can't do what they said that they can do when you're homeless, right? I would, at 46 years old, I would have loved to have an opportunity in my life where somebody was paying my basic bills. However, that would never allow me to overlook your character, your personality, how you treat me. Do you have friends? How do you treat the people in the person, your life? Like, listen, I worked 3 jobs to pay my rent before I'm going to deal with an asshole and a liar. That's just what it is. The other part about it is, and like I said on the last episode, I am not a Christian anymore. I think Christianity ruins more people's lives than helps it. And this is a good fucking example. She didn't want to be a single mom, and she's a Christian, and so she struggled with moving in with him. You didn't struggle that hard, bitch, because it's a quarantine. Nobody said you had to quarantine with somebody.
No, that was bullshit. I think she was using that as an excuse.
Well, I think that's how she really felt.
Her lack of sense.
I think that's how. Listen, lots of Christian women do that. I guarantee you. I know them. There was a point in my life where I was like, oh, I can't be having, premarital sex. I can't be, but I ain't dumb. I was like, listen, it's we shouldn't be having premarital sex, and it's a whole section on forgiveness and repentance. A bitch gonna have to repent because, listen, I'm not gonna marry this man and potentially ruin my life because I want to have sex with him. That's dumb. That's stupid. So you were able to say, oh, bump premarital sex, bump living together, bump all this extra stuff. She didn't even insist upon we need to work on getting married. They was doing offer letters and houses and offers on houses, and she was pregnant the next month.
Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. The wall was real for her.
She believed the hype. She believed the hype.
All she thought was not hype. That was a real thing. It's for both.
No, it's not. I don't know nothing about a wall. Well, that's another conversation.
We'll get into that another time.
And I'll tell you, I don't know nothing about the wall, so I can't even speak on it. Okay.
We'll talk about that shit. That's some real shit. It's for men too. But like you were saying, she bought into that, and all she seen was height, value. She said, okay, I got a high value man, low self-esteem.
She absolutely did. And she absolutely did. And the other part, she kept saying, I just wanted it to be my turn. And it resonated for me because I have felt that way a lot of times in my life. It should be my turn. Like, I'm a great woman, a great person. I was absolutely an excellent wife and a phenomenal girlfriend every time. So when you're in that position and you've been doing all these things that the Lord and the church and your mama and your auntie and all these people that told you need to be doing, and like she said, she felt like God was taking too long. So she had to do what she had to do. Because the reality is,
first mistake. How can you do what you have to do and you don't even have the tools to do what you need to do to go where you need to go?
Possibly. On my last opportunity for myself to find a husband and be a wife and a mother, I I still didn't let that nigga fuck over me. I still was like, okay, this ain't adding up.
Why you felt like that was your last opportunity?
Because I was making a decision that I wasn't having no babies after 42. Because I just didn't want. I had made my decision that if I'm not with this man by 40, it's a wrap.
And then, we're talking about this lady. Another thing that I found was weird is she knew certain things. Not that she knew the whole story or whatever, but she knew certain things and said, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna let it rock.
I can relate to her on that too.
That happened to me before, where my woman or the woman I was with knew certain things that I did lie about. Because there's no secret, I used to be a liar and a cheater. It only came out when I confronted her about her bullshit. It's like a lot of times, and I'm gonna say black women because that's all I ever dated, and it's always happened with black women. They always, most of them, some of them, whatever we want to say, I'm not gonna say all, they always keep a lie in the tuck for Mad Day. So when you try to hold them accountable on some bullshit, it's like, nah, I'm gonna throw this out at you so we can deflect from whatever bullshit you feeling about me. Oh no, it's almost like a Me Too thing. It's like, oh, you did this to me. Nah, you did this to me. And it's like, why would you not say nothing if you know he's lying? If you know a lie is gonna come, why still go look at houses, go do all of these things when you know for a fact it's gonna be a lie? I don't even think she wanted the house.
I think that she never met a man who promised her the things that he promised her. I think that by him showing her the Chase approval letter, it made her feel like, but how could he get the letter? How it gave her enough credibility to continue allowing herself to be delusional. When she found out that he never had that first house under contract, and she knew he was lying, she was pregnant. She knew she could not tell her mama and her aunts and her grandparents, I'm pregnant. I only met him 65 days ago. He really don't have no house and no money or no car. He really not going to be able to take care of me. I'm stupid. I'm dumb. And this what we finna do. So, she allowed herself to say, but I saw the approval letter. I don't know why he lied about this house being under contract, but I'm gonna let that go because I'm pregnant, and we just gonna keep it moving. She allowed her fake ass Christian background and her ego to not say, you know what, bitch, cut your ties where they are. Because let me tell you something. If a man is going to lie about putting in an offer on a house, lie about having a house under contract, lie about talking to the realtor, and the person is coming for the inspection in 2 days, you do not want to have that man's baby. He is going to be lying to you for the rest of your life about any and every fucking thing. After that, she was complicit. She chose to continue with a liar.
This is where it gets cloudy to me. Personally, because I've been in these type of situations. I lied about something. The woman was accepting the lies because she was hustling something because she wanted to be taken care of or whatever. They were hustling each other.
What was she hustling him to get?
To get taken care of, to have this fairy tale marriage, this whole family.
$600 in mortgage. He was paying $700 in mortgage.
I don't believe it. Come on now. Have you ever been to Atlanta? You've been to Atlanta. I'm asking because I know what the cost of living is in Atlanta, and I know what the cost of living is in Texas.
She knew.
A 3-bedroom townhome in Houston, which has one of the lowest cost of living in the nation. A 3-bedroom townhome is not $700. It's way more than $700.
Okay.
So I call cap on that bullshit she's on.
Okay.
Even if she stayed in the hood, which
I just feel like that's such a small thing in the big scheme of the whole story. Like,
it's part of the cog in the machine because he needed a place to stay. He knew he had a little bit of money. She was tired of paying bills, and I.
But he didn't have no money. He was on unemployment.
Getting money.
She was too.
She wasn't, because she didn't say, "Oh no, I don't feel comfortable with that. Let's pay half so we could save our money." Like all of the things that someone you would think wanted or like a person or want a man in their life or fuck with somebody the long way would tell, she never said to him.
Okay.
She just, all she seen was he was paying my bills, and all I had to worry about was the car note. And
her bills weren't that much, but okay.
You keep focusing on the bills, which is, I think, is minute. It isn't about the bills. It's about what he was doing. It was about what he was freeing up for her. Opportunity.
But do you know how delusional you have to be to be impressed with a man? Let's say her mortgage was
It wasn't about delusion. That's what I'm saying. She wasn't impressed. She was angling just like he was angling.
Okay.
She said, "Okay, let's keep it real. I don't feel that attractive. I don't look that attractive. This fucking guy thinks I'm attractive, and I guarantee you, women know shit. Women know shit.
He was gonna buy her a $750,000 house.
She didn't believe that.
You gotta be retarded.
She knew he wasn't gonna do that shit. She knew he wasn't gonna do that shit. She knew all he was gonna do was pay that little rent where she is now. She didn't believe no set. Come on now.
Okay.
Two people are just gonna get a set. That's like me and you getting together, and I say, "Hey, babe, now mind you, we're living in let's say we living in a 3-bedroom rent house," and I say, "Hey, babe, I got a pew for $750,000 house. Let's go get it."
There are a lot of people who have. There are a lot of.
She was hustling. She was hustling just like he was hustling.
Okay.
And that.
I just don't feel like arguing. I really strongly listen. I strongly disagree with you, but I just don't feel like arguing right now. Because he was not paying that much in mortgage for her to be like, "Oh, I'm finna hustle this." Like, that's stupid. If she was about to hustle him out of his money, when he wouldn't have never been in a studio apartment. He would have been in something for real.
What I'm saying is, she's not trying. See, you're taking it where I'm saying hustle the wrong way. It wasn't like she was trying to hustle hundreds of dollars out of him. She was trying to hustle a softer lifestyle at the time.
Okay.
That means I don't have to worry about rent. I don't have to worry about lights. All I want to worry about is my car note so I can get a new car. Because she wants that BMW. I think the whole time her hustle was getting that BMW. That's what that was about.
But she married the man after all that shit was over.
I'm calling cap on the marriage. I don't think she married that man. Because when we get further in the story, when she tells the man, mind you, he's in the bed, he can't walk, and she sits there, like she said, all calm, get the fuck out, you need to fucking leave. Let me tell you something. I've been married and I've done some salacious shit to my wife. My past wives. Now mind you, they wanted to kill me and kick me out. But they couldn't because we were married and I was paying my bill. They told me.
When my ex-husband put his hands on me and I text his brother and his cousin and I was like, this motherfucker needs to get the fuck out. They came and got him. None of the three of them objected with me. He could have stayed. He lived there.
That's different.
I wasn't pressing charges on him. I didn't press charges. It's not different.
On her, she just found out that he was fucking.
Him putting hands on me.
He gone. That's different.
It's not different legally if I don't press charges. It's not different legally if I don't press charges. And even if I did press charges, when he gets out of jail, that's where he lives. So he can come back. Unless I put out a restraining order. That's where he lives. That's where he gets rent, bills. I mean.
But that's what I'm saying.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
It's not the same thing. If he's in the next room laying down and she finds out he's cheating and then tells him, you need to get the fuck out now. Otherwise, I'll beat your bitch ass. That's crazy. Come on now. Come on now. Your situation is way different. I'm sorry.
I'm talking about legally.
Who brings legality into this?
You just did. If the police come, your ex-wives could not have made you leave. You live there. You get bills there. You pay. They can be mad.
No,
the police could not kick you out.
She didn't say any of that, and she works for the sheriff. She knew, but she proceeded to say he needs to get the fuck up out of here, and he got the fuck out of there. He left without his shit, and then she talking about she was gonna have a burn party. Like, get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Why are you so mad at her?
Why? I'm not mad at her, but I just say it's bullshit.
What's
bullshit? Bullshit on some of the shit that she.
What's bullshit?
What's bullshit is her letting these certain lies that she knew go by, right?
So can I ask you another question? Why are women always the victim no matter what happens? I mean, why are women always in the wrong no matter what happens to them?
Say she was. I'm just calling.
That's what you're saying.
No, I'm saying
yes.
It's not all his fault.
It is all his fault.
No, fucking shit. No, it's not.
It is.
How is it all his fault?
Because he lied.
So you've never lied in a relationship?
I lied about.
I asked you what you lied about. I just asked you, did you ever lie in a relationship?
I mean, I'm not stupid enough on camera to say that I've never lied. Yes, I've lied in a relationship. I've never lied about who I am. I've never lied about my intentions.
It doesn't even matter. It's a lie.
It does.
It don't know if
it does.
All the relationships I was ever in, they told me it don't matter to lie.
Well, we already know you was in wait. We already know you've been in relationships with the wrong bitch because you're not with them hoes no more.
Clearly.
Okay.
Right. I've been in relationships with the right one and I fucked it up. And I wasn't with them because of me. So don't get me wrong. I know when a nigga's wrong. Don't get me wrong. He is in the wrong. But what I'm saying is they both was angling each other.
Okay.
That's what I think.
I don't agree. But okay.
Fine. And then when she started doing her investigations, she did this mass investigation, left work, did all of these things, right? Correct. To find out the truth. Find out, calling the ex-wives, doing all this shit, doing master investigation. But she couldn't do a master investigation into what the fuck was wrong with his knee. She wasn't worried about him not being able to go to work anymore.
He's a grown-ass man and he's telling her, I'm going to the doctor, and the doctor said.
Okay, well, he was a grown-ass man. Okay, so she didn't believe all of their other lies.
That's his motherfucking knee. Her knee wasn't hurting. That's his knee. If he wanna ignore his own fucking health, that's him. Fuck him and his knee.
Care about was
he cheated on her. He was fucking sexting bitches and finding prostitutes. Fuck you and your knee.
This is before she even found out about that.
No, it was after.
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
No, it wasn't. I'm literally just listening. She did her investigation. She said he lost almost 2 times the body weight. Like, how can you sit there, investigate all of these other things?
She told him, next time you have a doctor's appointment, I want to go.
Next time you have a doctor. No, it's get your ass up. We're going to the motherfucking emergency room now. Otherwise, you can get your ass out. Okay, so if you're at that point where you don't give a fuck, found out all of these other lies, why wait till you look at his phone and see he's fucking over you? This is what I don't understand about people sometimes. The Crack King podcast. You're not gonna leave. Mind you, he did all of this lying, took you all through all of this rigmarole. You didn't fucking leave him. That's why I say they both was angling each other. You didn't fucking leave him, but as soon as you see him fucking with somebody else, oh, now he has to go.
I mean, people.
It sounds like bullshit to me.
I know I do. I don't think it's bullshit, but I know that something that I've observed over the years from other people, not myself, but from others, it seems like once people marry someone and they realize that this fake ass bullshit unity crap that they thought was marriage wasn't what it was, then you have a whole lot more motivation than you thought you would. for some reason
It's
people
not
feel like marriage.
bullshit.
Let me finish this statement and then I'm
Okay,
gonna
I'm gonna let you cook.
for some reason, um, people like you can people are there are so many women and men right now out there crying in their Cheerios because nobody's ever wanted to marry me. I've never been married. And they feel like they're missing out. They're not good enough. They're not this. They're not that. Life is not going to reach the epitome of life until they've gotten married. And it's a fucking delusion that people have bought into. And once you get into that shit and you realize that it's more ghetto than what you were doing before, you have a lot more motivation to be like, let me find out what's really happening.
But
I
it's not a
promise.
delusion to want to be with somebody long term. That is
It's
not a
not.
delusion.
Listen, most people,
That is human nature. We are.
most people's
We
desire
were
to be.
made to be together and
Okay.
push our culture and our generations forward. Make more, multiply. Whether that's children or whether that's finance or whether that's love or whatever. But we are here to come together and multiply.
Most people who are sad and depressed about not being married, it has nothing to do with multiplying, doing better, moving forward together. They just feel sorry for themselves because no one has ever wanted to marry them. It's not about all those things that
Nobody
you're
wanted to marry. That's
right.
why I say you have to
Even a fuck. Even that's why you say what?
you have to work on yourself. Be who you follow your purpose. Be who you're meant to be in this world. And
Everybody not meant to be married. Everybody not meant to be married. Marriage is not for everybody.
marriage is not for everybody, but
But what I'm trying to tell
being with
you,
somebody is
if
for
you would just listen to what I'm trying to say, listen to what I'm saying, and then think about it.
you said it out your own mouth. It's like they're so insecure. That's why they're saying
It's not
because
okay.
they're not.
No, 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 no. There are certain things that you will not be able to understand because you are a parent and you've been married. People who don't have kids, the world will shit on you because you don't have you.
I felt like this before I had kids or I got married. I didn't see the ending, ma'am. So after she told him to leave, right? After she called him all kind of bitches and she was gonna kick his ass and all this other shit. Then she finally told her family all of what happened, which I thought was some bullshit too. Don't wait till it's over and all the shit hit the fan to come out and say something. When all this shit was going on, she should have said something.
So basically, once she kicked him out, she went and figured out from some of her lawyer friends how to file for divorce. She filed for her divorce. She did it on her own. When you file for divorce, you need the person to acknowledge that they know that you're divorcing them and agree, or they need to be able to represent themselves and come up with their own terms. So, like 2 weeks before their court date for divorce, she was looking for him, couldn't find him. Turns out he had checked himself into a mental institution because it was hot in Georgia. He was living in his car. She found out that he had no friends virtually because everybody in his life knew that he was a pathological liar. They didn't fuck with him. Several of his family members cleared up, like, truths and untruths for her. She found out he had been in the hospital. He got out of the hospital and somebody had clued him in on the fact that that's your wife. That's where y'all live. You had mail going there. You can go back. You don't have to be home. So he told her, I'm ready to come home. I'm coming home. And she was like, oh, hell no. So she did her research and did what she had to do to make sure that if he did show up to try to, live there again, that the police could keep him from it. And they basically told her, no, y'all are married and this is where he lives. We can't keep him from coming here. The police felt sorry for her, so they ran his information through like a background search and found out he had a warrant. So they were like, okay, if he comes, let us know. We'll come pick him up on the warrant. He did come. They picked him up on the warrant. The warrant had expired, so he stayed in jail for about like 2 days. And the day he went to jail, her final divorce decree came in the mail. So she let him know we're divorced. She found herself another place to live. The movers were coming like, a couple of days before she expected him to be trying to show up again. And she moved and went on with her life and never spoke with him again. 2 weeks after that, he called her job and was trying to get in touch with her, telling people he wanted to get his things that he had left there. So she sent him like a formal communication saying, the divorce decree says that everything that you left at that house belongs to me. Everything that you had in your possession at the time of the divorce belongs to you. I don't have anything that belongs to you. Do not contact me. Do not have anybody else contact me. This is over. This is done. If you do, I'm going to get a restraining order. And she just
Did he ever get his stuff? Because he had like watches. Invictus, well, they're not expensive at all. But
she sold it.
She didn't get much, but anyway.
Right, she just got rid of it. She got rid of his shit. The photo album that he had of his parents, she sent that to his older brother. But
why not just send his stuff?
Because the brother was like, I ain't really like nobody in his life fucked with him like that. They was like, no, we don't want that. And she was like, well, this is pictures. And he was like, you can send that, but we don't want that.
Well, let me say this. So. And I feel like what you just told me kind of proved a little bit of my point that they both was hustling each other. Because if he was paying all of the bills, why does she have to sell his shit? Why can't she just give him his shit back? Why did she sell his shit?
He wasn't there to get his shit. What you gonna wait for a nigga that just fucked over you for years and years and years to come get his shit so he can disrupt your life? When I'm done, I'm done. If you don't get this shit before I'm moving out, I'm leaving it on the fucking curb.
She didn't move out. He wanted to come back.
She did.
She didn't move out. Well, how was he getting mail at that new place? That was still the same place they were.
No. I'm talking about listen, you're not listening to me. She was at the place where they lived. He had left and went to Augusta, or he went to Philly, then Augusta. Then he called. He checked into the mental hospital in Augusta. Yes. Then he called her and was like, I'm ready to come home. She's like, oh, hell no, you can't come here. He's like, well, we're still married and I can come there. So she was like, oh, hell no. She was about to move like within the next 2 weeks. She didn't know how long it was going to take him to get from Augusta to where she was. He had to get gas money and hustle and do whatever he could do to find somebody that gave enough of a fuck about him to put some gas in his car to get to where she was. So she done found another place. She packed up. She prepared to move. He gets there.
Okay.
So she gets there. He gets there before she moved, and so the police came and picked him up because he had a warrant.
I think
there was no place for him to take his stuff because he was going to jail. The last time we met, we talked, and you were like, "Why can't we just get along? Why can't us in the black community, black women need black men, black men need black women? Why? This is why." Because there are biases, and there are you want to see yourself in him, and I want to see myself in her, and we just refuse to hear the other person. Because what I'm gonna tell you, let me tell you something. I ain't rich. I haven't hit 100K yet in a salary. I do very well for myself. And if a man came around and paid my light bill, water bill, gas, that would not impress me to ignore his lies. But I'm not her, right? But what I can definitively say for any sane woman, and okay, you say her mortgage could have been $700. Let's say her mortgage was $1,500. So he paying $1,500 in rent, light bill, water bill, renter's insurance. That's not enough for you to take this nigga last name, for you to plan a family with him and keep all of his bullshit from everybody in your family. She was not hustling him. As a woman, it's hard for people to understand because men, not just men, women, most women I know were not diligent about not getting pregnant like I have. I've never been pregnant on purpose. Wanting that family, that this man loves me, I love him, we're gonna create our family out of love, we're gonna be together forever, I'm not gonna be a single parent, we're gonna have a marriage. That shit is not reality for most bitches. Christianity will make you believe that God has a plan for you, and the plan for this bitch that has a perfect life is the same plan for you, and your life been fucked up from jump. So when things get tight, and she said she was plus size, she's of age, she wants a family. Your desire to be normal, your desire to be loved, your desire to show up with a husband who loves you, who's legit, and he has a good job, is strong. Some women are tired of being shitted on. You tired of being treated bad. You tired of having to leave every man you ever liked. You tired of that. You don't want to look in the mirror and be like, well, bitch, I'm not going to be able to have a kid because these men don't treat me well. And I'm going to be 60 before I find one that's gonna, and I'm not going to have a baby with a loser. Like, that shit is real. I guarantee you it's not because he was paying her little funky ass mortgage. She talks about he bought her Michael Kors purses. This girl is not a gold digger. She was not a gold digger.
Just because it's Michael Kors and it's $1,500, just because she's not gold digging at $100,000, doesn't mean she ain't gold digging at $50,000.
Because I don't know bitches like that, so I get it. You're right.
There is an aspect in her that felt that way, but there was also a hypergamy aspect of how she was picking. It wasn't she moved fast just because, oh my gosh, I want to be married, I want this, and I want a man, and I want this. Like, that was the only thing, like, she's a Disney princess. That's bullshit. Because when she leaned over and told the nigga, you better get your motherfucking ass out before I kick your bitch ass. That ain't no Disney princess. A Disney princess will say, I know what you did. Figure yourself out. I'll give you time to get the fuck up out of here. Not get the fuck out of here before I kill you. And all I'm saying is there was some trauma for her and him. Both of them. It was all red.
I don't give a fuck about his trauma. He's a horrible fucking person.
Okay. So that was our take on who the fuck did I motherfucking marry, or whatever the fuck she was called. This is the Cracky Podcast.
A breath of fresh air with new kicks on. The Crack King Podcast. A breath of fresh air with new kicks on. The Crack King Podcast. A breath of fresh air.